I'm sequestered in my basement now.
Are you really? You're
As you
off
can
down
see.
there in the basement?
Yeah, well, this is the
Would
good
she
work
throw you a
spot.
chicken leg down the steps?
It's
Throw
good.
you a ham bone down the steps?
Say what?
You throw your ham bone down the steps?
Right, they throw the meat down every couple of hours here in the
I
basement.
bet those poor children can't understand this.
Oh yeah, the whole quarantine thing.
Yeah.
No, they don't get it. They don't get it. Well, I think they're the reason that I'm even sick. Is the reason they don't get it.
Why is Daddy in the basement? Well, he's been bad. We got him in 2-week timeout.
And you
guys
guys
don't ever want to do what he did.
And you guys better be good, because there's plenty of room in the basement. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, we can do it. I tell you, it's they don't tell you that before you become a parent, but you learn that parental authority voice pretty quick. You learn how to threaten them pretty quick.
Boy, if you don't, man, I'm going to tell you, those little Nimrods, they will run all over you.
Give them an inch, and yes, if you give a mouse a cookie book, that's just symbolism. That was written about toddlers.
The fact of the matter is, you can look at little children. They're so sweet and they're so innocent, and they are so fallen. It's not even funny. And I mean, it's just, you don't have to teach them. You don't have to send them to school. You don't have to instruct them how to act like a fallen, sinful person. They just do it. It just comes real naturally.
Regularly, my wife and I are like, where did they learn such and such? And it could be something good or bad. It doesn't always have to be bad. But it's just like, where did they learn it? Wow, did you teach them that? Did I teach them? Well, they haven't been anywhere. Like, what is my son today, he was telling me, he's like, Dad, there's a bear in the house. And he went into full, like, scared mode, like scared. And I was like, well, are you okay? But he was just acting, Pastor. He was just like doing a whole thing. And then he started laughing at me. He's like, hi, I fooled you. You thought I was scared. And I'm like, you just turned 2 like a week ago. I'm in trouble.
Oh, golly.
Takes after his mom.
And little boys are so different than little girls. I don't care what they say.
You can say that again. Well, and they're going to keep saying it, and they'll continue to be wrong. The kids are different.
They're just different. And that's nothing wrong,
Oh, it's beautiful.
Better than the other, that's for sure.
Well, you preached on that just a tiny bit today. What is that, Jeremiah chapter 30? Can a man give birth like a woman?
All these men, they acting like they're in pain.
That's right. They're in. Yeah, we're in, because it's I just hit the table. Yeah, we're in pain. We're in pain. We're titling your message. It's the end of the world as we know it. Is that going to be okay?
Oh God, I thought, you just getting a little preview. All this stuff everybody's going through and they freaked out about. This is just a tiny little preview clip of what's coming.
Well, people got to know, we got to gird up our loins. Do you feel like that's like the main point of the whole series, like that you're just trying to get people prepared? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I feel like that part of what I'm supposed to do is to prepare the church for the days ahead. And the days ahead, from a world perspective, is not very promising. Doesn't look very. Now, I know there are a lot of guys out there that says we're supposed to always, be happy, like a room without a roof. I can't see just, grinning and singing and dancing in the middle of people's pain. And it doesn't look good. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful because I know Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And that's what I want. That's kind of the way I ended the sermon with those 2 verses by saying, listen, Jesus comes back with, hey, endure, which gives me the encouragement. They're going to be those that endure. We're going to endure. We'll come through this. And the other thing is, take the gospel. The gospel is the answer. Now, politics is not the answer. Oof. Military reprisals, that's not the answer. The gospel is the answer for the world.
Well, the gospel.
So that's kind of where I tried to end up on on that. You
The
know,
gospel's the only thing with a 100% batting average, right? Like it always helps
absolutely.
people. It always,
Yeah.
you started the message with that your attention getter was talking about that historian that talks about Rome.
Yeah,
And
Mike Duncan. Yeah.
and his description of Rome is basically what we're going through. And it's all the same thing. You try military, you try all this. What other thoughts did you have about that?
Ethnic prejudices, the whole thing of citizenship, the whole issue of voting, voter issues, violence becoming a political tool. Golly, there you go. The throwing away of all traditions. We're getting away from any economic, just the whole thing of the haves and the have-nots, and all of that. It's just, military quagmire, one military thing after another, after another, after another. Well, and then you got the elites who they're concerned about their lifestyle and keeping power, and they will do nothing. They will not sacrifice in order to save the country. They will do anything in order to hold on to their power.
Yeah, it's interesting how we treat that kind of concept as something that is like new and unique to America, when that kind of thing has been going on in every society that's ever existed.
It's pretty shocker. You look at how civilizations unravel, fall apart. They all go down the same self-centered path. So
scary words. Wow. This is you're going dark today. What are you, like, working on writing a test or something like that?
I am literally writing a test for tomorrow is midterm, or today, Monday is midterm.
Oh, that's fast.
Yeah. Isn't it though? Man, this is already midterm.
Wow.
So they've got a test tomorrow. They've had to turn part of the second class period. My classes are an hour and 50 minutes each, and they run every other week. So the second class period, they had to turn in a major background on Colossians chapter 1, on the book of Colossians, and on the passage. So they've had to turn that in, and they've got midterm this thing, and next class period, nothing. And then the next, they're going to have their full-blown, fully done out manuscript, exegesis, all of that.
Well, I hope none of them are watching this. You've just given them the whole study guide. Now they know.
Well, I've already given it to them.
Oh, okay.
I gave it to them. I put all of this in the syllabus to begin with, but I am sitting down, making up the test. I'm feeling particularly wicked today.
You're just devising all the ways to torture your students.
I just want to go.
Just that's why you grew it out. You grew this just so you could do a couple of the handlebar twists.
Yeah.
You got to keep the beard. People are clamoring for the beard. I know that you've seen the comments on Facebook. Everybody's all about the beard.
I'm not on Facebook. I've not seen Facebook. I have no clue as to what anybody's saying.
I know your wife has got to, like, show you the comments and that sort of thing.
She never does.
Really?
Never. She never shows me anything on Facebook. I'm gonna take electric razor in the pulpit and say, if y'all don't tithe this morning, here goes the beard.
That'd be particularly youth pastorish of you, right? Like, we got to raise.
I'm gonna hold you hostage here,
But if you guys tithe $1 million, I'll go in the dunking tank. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect.
Oh gosh, are we live? Is
this? Of course we are. Of course. Well, this is all in. This is all in.
I'm telling you, Rick and Bubba have nothing on Kirkwood and Mike.
Not a single. I've never even heard of the people you're talking about. I have no idea what you're referring to. No idea what you're referring to. No, this is good. We're owning the airwaves right now. So you're getting that test ready. I'm glad you're doing that. So you say that your class is an hour and 50 minutes every time. That's pretty much how long you've been preaching during this series. You've really been.
No, did I go long? Did I go long Sunday?
I mean, define long. Like I feel like you barely started half the time. When you're getting to the end, you're like, my time's gone. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm trying so hard, Kirkwood. You just don't know how.
Oh, I know you're trying hard. You were just too mad about Interstate 285. That was the problem. Wow. You spent too long complaining about it.
That probably is what puts you in a funk and a depression that lingers.
The sign of the end times.
If I lived in Atlanta and I had to drive that every day, I'd be the meanest man in America.
Are you a road rage guy? Is that something you have to fight against?
No, but it just is, golly. And see, I had to go through there with the pouring rain. No, I don't get angry. I don't get mad. But it is terrible. It's stressful. It just puts you up in a knot until you can just get through the thing.
That's how I feel about 280 here. Every time I get on especially if I got to like make a U-turn on 280 or something like that, I'm like, oh, it's gonna.
Well, if 280 bothers you, just go over there and get on 285.
Okay, all right.
Drive that, and you'll come back here and you'll think, oh, 280. This is highway to heaven.
It's a dream. Yeah, I like how you the 280. Well, it's interesting. So I looked up because I was here at home, right? So I can immediately fact check you as you're preaching, right? Yeah. So I looked up to it. Did you know that there is a 285 in the Western United States? It's not around a city. It runs like straight north and south. It's like in Colorado going down to the western part of Texas near the town of San Antonio. No, not really, but it's up and down. And people call it the highway to darkness or like the highway to destruction. And I was like, that's really interesting. That's a very interesting coincidence.
Now that's an illustration there. Why do they call it that?
I don't know. Now I gotta look it up. Highway. See, I said Highway 285. That's not Highway 285. U.S. Route 285, north-south, United States Highway. Oh no, now it's not going to tell me. It's got a Highway to. No, I've got to find a nickname of this thing. The people are dying right now. This is Death Highway. Why US 285 is known as Death Highway? Because so many accidents happen on Route 285. It's like the Titanic, Pastor. They shouldn't name any more roads 285. They should just skip over that number.
You're right. Every 285 I know is just horrible then. There are two of them that we know of.
I'm going to send you that link.
One around Atlanta and then the one out there.
I know you don't like people to write your sermon illustrations for you, but I just gave you that one for next week.
That's a good illustration right there. That'll be good for something.
Well, you can put it in your archive. But I wanted to jump back to the text for a second.
Okay.
Because I wanted to commend you, but also ask for a little bit more clarity on just like you helping us understand the context of when Jesus was talking there in Matthew 24. That's it for our listeners and watchers.
Yes.
Matthew 24, that was the main text that we were jumping off of.
Yeah.
And you're preaching out of the first part because you said you're going to continue this coming week, right?
Yeah, I'll come back to it this coming Sunday.
I loved what you did with talking about giving specific context to the stone, those particular stones that Jesus is talking about when he says, not one of these stones will be left upon another. Because they're massive.
Oh, they're huge. The Romans got up on that wall and, I don't know, they didn't have crowbars, but they had big levers. And they literally took it apart stone by stone.
And now, which is hard to believe.
And you think a Roman legion was 6,000 soldiers.
Well, yeah, okay.
And he had three legions there. If I stop, he had the 10th Legion and the I can't remember the other two now.
Because this is
maybe the 15th Legion. the 10th Legion. I can't remember the other. So you had 6,000 soldiers approximately each. So you had over 15,000 soldiers that were there. They could have hopped up on that wall and they could have taken it apart piece by piece. Now, the temple itself, in the temple, it was covered in gold.
Right.
So they went in and they stripped the gold off of it. There's a great book that's written. I'd have to go and get the title of it. I can't remember off the top of my head. They suspect, they know there was so much gold that came out of the temple that they shipped back to Rome, that there was so much that flooded the market that literally the price of gold was driven down.
Wow.
That's where Vespasian got the money to build the Colosseum, was from the gold that came out of the temple.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
That stuff is amazing. So, but when you're talking about them getting on there and taking it apart with crowbars, that's the AD 70 is when that takes place, when it all falls. Yeah. But and Christ is obviously prophesying that, but he's prophesying more than that, right?
Yes. You know, in prophecy, especially in the Old Testament, one prophecy, it had to mean, prophecy had to have some meaning for the people of that day. For example, when Isaiah the prophet turns around and he looks at the king and he says, "Behold, a virgin will conceive and bear a son, and you should call his name Emmanuel." Well, most likely the king had a wife that was there that was expecting a child. And he said, by the time this happens, those things that you're worried about will be done and gone. Inside less than 9 months away, this will all be taken care of. But it had a fuller meaning in the coming of Christ.
Got it.
It had a deeper meaning and a greater meaning. That was just, let's just say, the staging ground from which the prophecy was given. So Jesus was saying to them, guys, you're impressed with all these stones. You take a look, because it's not going to be long. There's not going to be one left on another. But that's why he keeps coming back and saying, through this, he comes and he says, but the end is not yet at hand. It's not yet the end. This is just the beginning of birth pangs. He makes those two statements right here, and he'll continue to do that. This is not, it's not the end yet, So I think he was saying, when he knew that they would see this, would experience this, at least they would hear about it if they were not in Jerusalem. And he would remind them, they would be reminded, no, this is just the beginning of these things. So
I love thinking about the way that Christ fulfills that prophet role. He is prophet, priest, king, and that he walks and even speaks and prophesies in that same manner as the Old Testament prophets did, with the cryptic meanings, and I'm sure even the way it's constructed is similar. I don't know enough yet about that type of literature, but I'm excited because that's actually my next class. So I'm about to become like a Hebrew literature scholar.
Yeah. Your next class is what now? Old
Testament 2.
Oh, okay.
So it's everything but the Pentateuch, which it's my fault. Whose
textbook did they use? Jim Hamilton's?
I'm embarrassed to say I barely looked. It doesn't start for another week. I think my professor is Dr. T.J. Betts at Southern, and I'm not sure if he wrote the textbook or not. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Well, Hamilton is an Old Testament professor there at Southern.
Oh, okay.
And he has a book where he is that's very good. I've got it somewhere over here. In fact, I was using it just the other day.
It might be one of the accompanying texts. His name sounds familiar to me, but you and me we'll have to talk offline about that, because obviously if history serves, I'm going to come back here in 2 or 3 weeks with, really telling you what's up after I start digging, into things, right? Oh boy. Well, I love thinking about that, Pastor. I love thinking about Christ as the prophet. I'm looking forward to seeing about what's going to come up in the rest of the chapter. You want to give us any of a preview of what's coming up this week?
Well, he's going to turn to a great deal about the Jews beginning in verse 15 of Matthew 24. And, we'll just have to see.
Wow.
All I can think about is this test that I've got that I'm putting together. So.
That's why I'm going to let you go. I know you need to focus on that. But I'm sure you're going to
back to making this test up.
Oh, so now I see what the definition of abomination of desolation is.
Yes.
How it's all coming together.
Oh, golly.
Those students won't know what hit them.
I hold their academic career in my hand. Oh, man. I'm not a bad teacher. I'm really not.
Sure you're if it's anything like you in the pulpit, I'm sure that you are a patient and wise teacher. I wish that we could all audit those classes.
Well, it's fun. I've enjoyed it. They've asked me to come back next semester, but I've told them I can't because I've got to get back to my dissertation. I'm writing lesson plans to the point now to where I can't work on my dissertation. So.
Oh, that reminds me. I haven't given you your birthday gift yet. I don't know if I told you to your face. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. You did. You sent me a nice card too.
Oh, okay. Praise the Lord. Well, I got a gift for you. I think that you'll find it somewhat humorous. Maybe we can talk about it next week. I'll Lysol it. And I'll put it in your mailbox or something like that.
All right.
Well, it's been good talking to you, brother.
Okay. Take care.
You too.
Behave down there in the basement.
I know. They'll throw the meat down again eventually.
Yeah, they'll throw you a chicken bone down there in a little bit.